One of the most important concepts in hot yoga, Bikram yoga, Barkan yoga, and actually it applies to other styles of forceful yoga like Ashtanga yoga and Vinyasa. And the concept is contraction, relaxation, and understanding the combination of the two. I used to always think Bikram was saying construction. And I asked him once, he says, no, contraction. So contraction, relaxation. What does that mean? It means in order for us to penetrate deep into the inner core where the real tension lies, we have to first create a tension. We have to first create a contraction of the muscle. And by creating the contraction of the muscle, we're able to penetrate into that deep area and then release it. Let's look at the posture, awkward pose, second part. So take a deep breath in and down you go. And when you stop at your position, you want to hold all the muscles tight. The abdominals, the quadricep muscles are automatically engaging. The tricep muscles, as high up on your toes as you can. Hold. Contract the muscles and then release after it. And this is what's important. A lot of people don't really put all the attention on the release. That's why we stand at attention between these positions, but a relaxed attention. That's what we call in yoga the Sanskrit samastitihi. It's also nicknamed tadasana incorrectly, but from a literal translation, samastitihi is when the arms are by the side. So when we're relaxing after the pose, then the release takes place. Now, before I give you the next tip, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell. You get notified when I post a new video. If you're enjoying this video, hit the like button and really boost us up in the algorithm. If you want to learn all about hot yoga, flows, tutorials, and factoids like this video, hit the like button and the subscribe button right now. My favorite metaphor is the dam holds back the water, and it's holding the water in. There's the contraction part that's not allowing the water to come through. And now when we release the doors of the dam, the water can flush through. So that's how we're manipulating the blood and oxygen into the body. In the contraction phase, we're holding the muscles tight. We're stopping the circulation from flowing into that area of the body. We're actually cutting it off. And now when we release after it, the water comes through to irrigate the canal. The blood and oxygen flows through to open up and rebuild the cells, get rid of the tension, and bring your body to the next level. Now let's look at the eagle pose. A little different than the awkward pose, where in that not all your muscles are contracted. So here we go into the eagle pose. And yes, you can really see the contraction taking place as we cut off the circulation into those areas of the body. But here there's an isolation, because you don't want to keep your hips tight, because the hips have to loosen up in order for you to get deeper into the pose. The hips are soft, but the legs are tight. In dance, they call that isolation. Are you able to relax your hips and tighten your legs at the same time? When you're able to do that, here we are holding the position, tight, but the hips are relaxed. And now we come out of it in samastitihi, and there's that rush. There's the water flowing into the canals. There's the blood and oxygen rebuilding and replenishing the body. It's the most nourishing thing the body can sustain. So now back to the eagle pose. Yes, it's happening automatically. You don't have to be conscious of it because it's happening automatically. But when you are conscious of it, one of the main reasons why I'm making this video, when you are conscious of this concept, this reality, this phenomenon of what's taking place in the body, now you're going to exaggerate the benefit. Because now when you're mentally connected to what's happening physically, this is the practice of Raja Yoga. Bikram used to always say, you can't truly or fully practice Hatha Yoga unless you're practicing Raja Yoga simultaneously, meaning you have the mindset and understanding of what's going on inside the body. And when you do that, it changes everything. It changes your concept, because now you're helping through your mind, through your thoughts, to manipulate the blood and oxygen into your body to allow for this cleansing to take place. And once again, it exaggerates the phenomenon. And now when we get to the floor, let's look at the Cobra series, because once again, it's happening on the floor. The Cobra series, by the way, is a very common practice sequence shared by many lineages, not just from the Bikram and the Barkan yoga world. So here's Elena back in the studio, and here she is in Cobra. She lifts up, holds, contraction, and releases. And she comes down in reverse shavasana. There's the release. Now she goes to full locust. We're going to skip locust just because I don't need to make the point with all four. So it takes a deep breath in and up she goes. And she holds, and releases in reverse shavasana. Head turns the other direction. So relaxing the head and both in the neck as well as the body in proportion. Now the bow. Up she goes, holding, contraction, and relaxation. All the blood and oxygen goes to the lower back in the Cobra, goes to the middle back in the full locust. When we're doing the locust, it goes to the upper back, and it goes to the entire back in the bow. Contraction, relaxation, replenishing the spine, which is the main focus in Hatha Yoga. Now, you can think of the entire class as contraction relaxation. In fact, you can think of the standing poses as the Shiva energy on the contraction side of the coin, and then the floor poses as the Shakti energy, or the relaxation part of the pose. That's why when we do our first shavasana, after the standing poses are over, both the Bikram and the Barkan world in class, we go into this first shavasana, which I consider to be the second most important moment in the class. Why is that? Because now we created contraction in all the areas of our body in the standing poses. Now when we're relaxing in shavasana, we're letting it all flood through. We're opening up the dam, and the water's flooding into the canals, and there's the replenishment. And what's happening is the circulation is smart. It seeks out the areas that are imbalanced. It seeks out the areas that have lots of tension or could be injured, and it flows into those areas with more intention. But once again, don't just lay there in shavasana and just catch your breath and be happy that you're relaxing. You have this mindset that's connected to what's going on in the body. You have the Raja Yoga and the Hatha Yoga coming together, and they reconcile in this moment. Shiva and Shakti reconcile in this first shavasana. So now you may ask, what's the most important moment of the class? If that's the second most, the most important moment of the class is the final shavasana, when you're completely relaxing. Iyengar would say you should do 20 minutes of your final shavasana after a class, which is a little tough to do if you're a studio owner because you've got another class coming in. But that last shavasana is when the blood and oxygen are working. That's when the process is completed. An interesting factoid in China, the Shaolin Temple, where Kung Fu was originated. Actually, this is their history, not the yogic history. They were inspired by a yogi. An Indian yogi had come to China, and apparently he was attacked by all these different animals and bandits while they were off on a journey. The monks were off on a journey. They come back, and he teaches them how to defend themselves. And what he's teaching them is this concept, contraction relaxation. Bruce Lee would talk about the Kung Fu punch, which was different than the traditional boxer punch. The traditional boxer punch would be like a hammer that's coming through. Bruce Lee would say the Kung Fu punch was like a steel ball with a chain on it, and you'd whip it. And that's the flexibility of the chain and the strength of the ball coming together. So I know this is a violent metaphor for yoga. I wanted to show you this is a concept of the East, not just from yoga, but in the martial arts, especially in Kung Fu philosophy as well. And also what goes hand in hand with contraction relaxation is strength flexibility. A lot of people think you have to be flexible in order to do yoga, which is a fallacy. You can't just be flexible. My mother was extremely flexible, but she couldn't stand on one leg for more than 5 seconds because she didn't have the strength to support it. On the other side of the coin, you can be very, very strong and not have the flexibility. So what do we do in yoga? We want the combination of the two, and we want the two to be in equal proportion. Flexibility and strength. So what happens is, here's a tip I want to give you. People tend to exploit what they're good at. So if they're stronger, so let's say a man's doing a posture like standing head to knee, and he's kicking his leg out, and he's creating so much contraction in his body, he has a need to create that much strength in the position. He's already strong enough. He has to think differently. He has to think loose and relaxed. So the flexibility is a chance to catch up. On the other side of the coin, somebody's doing standing head to knee, that's more flexible than they are strong. They need to think strength and strong and hold. Contract those muscles so they can stay there and hold it longer. So what you want to do is think about what it is that you need more of, and that's where your focus is. So if you're stronger than you are flexible, loose and relaxed. If you're more flexible than you're strong, tight and solid. So let it catch up. Let them come together. If you're not flexible or strong, you gotta come to class every day.
It's not funny.
So once again, what's the purpose of this video?
What is our purpose?
To have the mental understanding of how to approach your positions. You're not just getting in there, doing pranayama breathing, the 26 postures, kapalabhati blowing and going home. You have this mental focus mentally of what's going on in the practice, the phenomenon of the blood and oxygen coming through the body, and the spiritual side, the prana shakti, and how it creates a shift and an opening. And when you have the mental focus, it changes everything. So next time you're on the mat, I want you to have this intention when you get onto the mat. What is it you want to focus on? Understanding the concept of the contraction relaxation. Visualizing the circulation flowing into the body. The blood and oxygen, the prana shakti replenishing your body. So here's what I want you to think about. As we hold the position, there's the contraction. We're holding, holding, holding. And when we come out of the position, the relaxation. And that's how we complete the process. So think about that next time on your mat. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell, hit the like button, share it with your friends. You want to learn all about hot yoga, hit the like button and the subscribe button right now. And I'll see you the next video. Bye, everyone.